Sometimes seems to me that the Kentuckian is a distinct critter that should be added to the national list of endangered species. The Kentuckian is endangered because he's different, a maverick, you might say, in a time of general conformity in our national life when the emphasis is for all of us to look, think, and act and react alike. Thus, the Kentuckian should be preserved. But why is the Kentuckian different? Different even from the residents of the states which border us? Well, basically, I think it's because of Kentucky's unique geographical location within these United States. No one has yet decided exactly where Kentucky fits because it's too far north to be south, too far south to be north, too far west to be east, and too far east to be west. It's simply Kentucky, and lying as it does at the crossroads, we've taken from the easily distinguished regions surrounding us traits which we've blended into Kentucky East. And this is nothing more than a conglomerate of attitudes, customs, traditions, the pronunciation of words, the way that we fit words together into sentences when we talk, and on and on and on, the world without end. Being such a mixture of diverse traits, we often seem to contradict ourselves, for this is at one and the same time a state of gentleness and violence, of warm hearts and hot heads, of great erudition and appalling illiteracy, of hard drinking and teetotalism, and it's a state that's produced some of the great statesmen in American history and some of the most notorious ballot box stuffers. Strangers often are quicker to recognize the things which make Kentuckians different than we are ourselves. This explains, I think, why strangers hear the very word Kentucky and a mixture of contrasting mental images parade past their mind's eye. Daniel Boone, the Hatfield-McCoy feud, the Kentucky Derby, mountain moonshiners, my old Kentucky home, and, of course, Colonel Sanders and all of his chickens. Sometimes strangers feel constrained to make allowances for what they suspect are our differences by often simplifying what they feel may be things beyond our grasp. As in the case of a friend of mine who some years back was in Los Angeles. He'd wired ahead to the hotel where he wished to stay. He arrived, announced his name, and the clerk looked him up on his list, and he said, "Oh, yes, I see here that you're from Louisville, Kentucky." He said, "You didn't tell us whether you want a room with a tub or a shower." My friend, being very frugal, I said, "Well, what's the difference?" Meaning, of course, the difference in the price between the room with a tub and a shower. However, the clerk didn't understand his question. Instead, he looked back down at his telegram, and my friend vows that he could detect the words Louisville, Kentucky kind of flitting silently across the lips of the clerk, and then the clerk looked back at him with a very superior air, and he said, "Well, with a tub, you sit down."